So this is the second part of the Musical Minds reading book for pianists. And we're starting with perfect fifths. And we had just finished finding fifths on the keyboard. That's using your outer fingers. We're using ones and fives. And we've learned C's, and we have learned basic rhythm. So let's start on page 22, where it says intervals at the top. And the page looks like this. And we're going to start by just tapping out the rhythm. So take both of your hands and put them up here on the fall board or on your legs, either way. I'm going to do up here because it might be easier to see. So look to see what hands are playing and what the rhythm is. So we have the right hand on number 1 playing, and we have all half notes. So we're playing on the first beat and the third beat of every measure. 1, 2, ready, tap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rhythm stays steady, doesn't it? And so we're going to use just your right hand. And what is the first note that we have? One on middle C. We haven't learned the other note yet, but you know that it's a fifth above because we're doing fifths. So you'll use your 5 on that note. We'll learn the name of it in a minute. Okay, so starting with your 1 finger. Ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have the same thing, number 2, with the left hand. So the left hand starts on what note? You know that it's going to be a C, and it starts with 5 because the 5 is written over the note. So that is your C below middle C, your bass C. And then when it changes, it's going to change a fifth above. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 3 has both hands playing at the same time. Look at that and see if it's the same thing we did hands separately. It is. So when we're playing with our hands moving in the same direction, that's called parallel motion. A lot of the songs that you started playing in Suzuki Book 1 started in parallel motion. So that's when your hands are moving the same way at the same time. So that's what we have here. And if you drew a line to every note, then you would find that the lines on the first staff and the lines on the second staff would look the same. They would be all going up and down at the same time and staying the same in places. They'd all be the same. So place your thumb on middle C and your 5 on the C below middle C, and we'll play. Ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So page 23 introduces the name of the note that we're going up to, and that note is G. So we're playing C's and G's, and on page 25, we can play those notes at the same time, and it's still a perfect fifth. So we can play it melodically or harmonically, and it's still a fifth. So on page 25, you get practice doing it that way. But before we get to 25, I want to introduce something that's on page 24. Look at number 7. So we're no longer in parallel motion. If you drew a line from for your right hand, it would be like this, wouldn't it? But if you drew a line for your left hand, it would be this. So it moves slower than your right hand. So your hands are not in parallel motion here. This is what 7 sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they move at the same time, and then the right hand has an extra note, right? So if you look at number 8, your left hand moves, but your right hand stays on middle C. So now let's look at page 25 for a moment, and we're going to look at number 12. So number 12 introduces another pattern that we see in piano a lot, and that's called contrary motion. That means that you're using the same fingers at the same time, but you're going in opposite directions. So you can do contrary motion with a scale. If you know a C scale and you place your thumbs on middle C and then play your 2s and play your 3s and play your 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. And you can go the other way. That is called contrary motion. So 12, if you were to put lines between your notes like dot to dots, you would find that they would go in and away from each other like this. So place your 5 on the C below middle C and your 5 on the G above middle C. So you've got 5s at the same time. 1s, 5, 1, 5, 1s, 1s, and then we stay on C. So that one's a little tricky, but you might want to just get used to the feel of it some, and then read it. And then on page 26, you get to draw C's and G's. So I don't have a key signature there. I don't have a meter or time signature there. So you can put as many notes as you want into a measure. And you can make it treble clef, and you can make it bass clef. And then you have a chance to make up your own melody. So that is page 26. And then we get into the rhythms that we learned in the Suzuki book. So some of these we did as pianists, and some of them we didn't do as pianists. But if you've heard any of the string players, they do these. So it's good for us to know them too. So the rhythms here, this one is Whippleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. Wobbleton to Whippleton is 15 miles. Whippleton to Wobbleton and Wobbleton to Whippleton and Whippleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. So if I kept a beat, would you be able to clap on the Whippleton to Wobbleton is? Ready, go. Whippleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. Wobbleton to Whippleton is 15 miles. Whippleton to Wobbleton and Wobbleton to Whippleton and Whippleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. So Whippleton to Wobbleton is the rhythm that is identified at the beginning. These are called 16th notes. And you can see that they have a double bar either below or above them instead of just the one that we have for 8th notes. And they are usually grouped in 4s in this meter. So Wibbleton to Wobbleton is, Wibbleton to Wobbleton is your rhythm. And you might have learned that as Mississippi, Mississippi, Chattanooga, Chattanooga, wish I had a motorcycle, wish I had $1 million. I've heard so many of them. So that is this rhythm. So this first one is Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. So find your C above middle C and place your thumb on it. And place your 5 on the C below middle C. And then your hands are set up. And we're going to put this rhythm in our hands. Ready, go. Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. Wobbleton to Wibbleton is 15 miles. So the next one is introducing what some people call Mississippi hot dog or Chattanooga choo choo. It is, so I'm going to do a poem that goes like this. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John went to bed with his stockings on. One shoe off and one shoe on. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John. So you clap on the deedle deedle dumplings. Ready, go. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John went to bed with his stockings on. One shoe off and one shoe on. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John. Mississippi hot dog. Deedle deedle dumpling. So set up with your C above middle C and your 5 on the C below middle C, and we're going to play. Right hand begins. Ready, go. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John. All right. So this next one, I have Ain't I Rock Candy, which is part of Alabama Gal, which we can't do online. It is a circle game and a dance. And the tune goes, ain't I rock candy, ain't I rock candy, ain't I rock candy, Alabama Gal. It's that one. And we've done it in group class as a dance. What might be easier is to do it this way. We're going to use this motion. You're going to be shooing a fly away. And you may even need to use your foot. So let's try it. Ready, go. Shoo fly, don't bother me. Shoo fly, don't bother me. Shoo fly, don't bother me. For I belong to somebody. Shoo fly, don't bother me. Shoo fly, don't bother me. Shoo fly, don't bother me. For I belong to somebody. So shoo fly, don't. What rhythm is that? Maybe short, long, short, or bounce, roll, bounce. But it is this rhythm. So we're going to do Ain't I Rock Candy. Set up on your C's. 1 in right hand, 5 in left. Ready, go. Ain't I rock candy? Ain't I rock candy? All right. So next rhythm is, we call it Run Susie, Run Susie. but I've heard a lot of other rhythms. So whatever you usually use is fine. The tune I have here, Wee Willie Winky, dum bum 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 bum. A better one, Wee Willie. That's what I have. Wee Willie. A better one might be, I have a dog and his name is Rover. And it goes like this. I have a dog and his name is Rover. He's the one I love the best. When he is good all over. When he is bad, he is just a pest. So this time, clap on the I have a dog and his. When he is good, he is. I have a dog and his name is Rover. He's the one I love the best. When he is good all over. When he is bad, he is just a pest. So, set up with your C and your C. And we're going to do I have a dog and his. Ready, go. So the next ones are rhythms that you can read. And if you get a little stumped, look at the name. 1, 2, tie my shoe should give you a hint on the rhythm on that. The next one, I see a bluebird. The next one is all around the buttercup. Now, eventually, those rhythms are not repeated, but they may use those rhythms in a different order. You've got to figure that out. Then the next one, London Bridge, I expect you know how that sounds, and that's a new rhythm. But you've played London Bridge, so the first note on page 29 is right. So we're not going to talk about what that rhythm is yet. Just do it by ear. We'll give it names later and how it's organized. Next one is Jingle Bells. Next one is Lucy Locket Lost Her Pocket. And then Hot Cross Buns. Then Naughty Kitty Cat. Lou, Lou, skip to my Lou. Wallflowers, wallflowers. And I've been to Harlem. And that one, all right, so as I say, just do those by ear right now. And then we will talk about them later once you've got it memorized how it sounds. So moving on, page 31, we're getting into melody and patterns in melody. And I think it's very important when you're reading to be able to recognize patterns and know what they sound like and know what they look like and how they feel right away in different keys. In my Musical Minds 2 book, there are lots of practice lessons for that. Here, we're just going to stick with no black notes. But you can still explore without reading. You can just explore some of these patterns on the keyboard. And we do that in lessons some too. But page 31, you will notice that the pattern here, if you drew a line to every single note, like a dot to dot, it would be going up and then staying the same. And then it would go down and then it would stay the same. Right? And that's exactly what it sounds like. So we're filling in the fifth that we played. We've worked on fifths. Now we're going to fill in all the notes in between. So we have an opportunity to do that with both hands. And then before we get into 32, which get into specific melodic patterns, let's review the ones that we have already learned by ear. Let's do hot cross buns, hot cross buns. If you want to do symbols or hand signals, hot cross buns, hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Okay, so we're going up stepwise, right? So that's kind of how that goes. And that pattern is a mi, re, do pattern. We played them on the piano by ear. So this is what it sounds like. And we can go backwards and go with do, re, mi. So that pattern starts on E note. So we're learning a new note. We've learned C and we've learned G, and now we're going to learn E. And E uses your 3 finger on the E above middle C, right? And then an octave lower, we're going to put our 3 in left hand on the E note. So top of page 32, which hand begins? Right hand. Ready, go. Rest. 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 Good. So now we get E note practice on the next one. And then our next note we learn is D. And that's your 2 finger in your right hand and your 4 finger in your left hand. So we've got D note practice. So now we've got 2 new notes to learn, E's and D's. And we find them in our mi, re, do, or do, re, mi pattern in C. So that's pretty easy. So when we do the last one on page 32, we've got mi, re, do, and do, re, mi. So we start on what notes? Our C notes. And we play all the notes we know. We know them as D's and E's. But we don't have to read them because we know what the pattern looks like. We go up stepwise and we come down stepwise. Ready, go. So you can go on and learn page 33 introduces F note, which is 4th finger in your right hand and 2 finger in your left hand on page 34. And then you have some writing that you can do. You can draw in notes and say what the note names are and some practice there. So that brings us to 35. Page 35, we're introducing a new melodic pattern. So I'm going to play the pattern. It's so, mi, do, mi, so. So instead of going from so, do to so, we're going to do a mi in between. We're just doing one note in between. And those of you who have done triads, it's 1, 3, 5 in each hand. That's the pattern that we're doing. So sing it with me from so, ready, go. So, mi, do, mi, so, mi, do, mi, so. So here's a song that goes, la, wallflowers climbing up so high. Does it start with a so me do? Wallflowers, dum bum bum. It does. How about this one? Mousy, mousy in the housey, hurry, hurry do. Or the kitty in the housey will be chasing you. That's another one that has that triad in it. Or the other direction. Rocky mountain, rocky mountain, rocky mountain high. So it can go either way. So here on page 35, we are in parallel motion, 5 on G and 1 on G, and we're going to play our so mi do. Now I'm assuming that you've already memorized how to play this. We worked on it in the summer, not summer, spring. We worked on all of these in the spring so that you had them memorized. So if you've forgotten that, you need to review just playing hands together, your G, E, C, so that you can do this easily. So let's play, we're down here, ready, go. And the next one has that pattern. The next one has the pattern going the other way. Then we've got a couple of tunes that you may recognize that have part of the pattern or some variation on that pattern. And I'm not going to play them because I think you need to read them. And then we start to transpose. So I'm going to sing something that goes like this. Seesaw, up and down, in the air and on the ground. Me, or it's so me, so me, so me, me, so me. So we have that melody, and we do it in C major, and then we move our hands up to a D note and do it in G major, and then we move it down to a C note and we play it in F major. You don't need to know what those keys mean yet, but just get used to hearing that sound, that terminology. So page 37, so mi la, another one we practiced. We start with 4th finger and 2 finger. So if we did Lucy Lockett lost her pocket, Katie Fisher found it. There was not a penny in it, just a ribbon round it. We are doing these notes, which is a part of that so mi la pattern. So is where we begin. So la la, so mi mi, so la la, so mi, so la la, so mi mi, so la la, so mi. And you can try playing that just by ear. Start on a G note with your 4 with right hand, or start on a D note with 4. You could start on a C note with 4 and try those and see if you could just play them by ear. And then you're ready to roll on page 37 and reading these. Rain, rain, go away, come again some other day. I see a bluebird in through my window. And then on that 3rd measure, change to a 3. I don't know if I've got that in your part. And then Lucy Lockett lost her pocket. We did that one just now. And then 38 and 39, we start looking at adding that la to our so-mi-do, which we see quite often. And as pianists, we have to extend to get to that interval. It's a sixth from C to A. So that's a stretch past your fifth to the next note up. So just try C and then going up to A with your 5. And rocking back and forth, C to A. And you can do it in your left hand, C to A. And just getting used to that distance. And so on page 38, we have, we'll do it from this direction. Do, mi, sol, la, sol, mi, do, mi, sol, la, sol, mi, do. So we're going from do to la. It's a big jump. All right, so that's that one. And then do, so, do. We've practiced this one too. It's a perfect fourth, remember? So we have to use 2, 5, or 1, 4 and skip the 2 middle fingers. So do, so, do sounds like this. Or do, yeah, do, so, do. So listen to this tune. Starts out with so, do. So Happy Farmer has that going down to the so that's lower than our do. So it would be do, so, do. Right? Do, so, do. Goes below that do note. So you get practice with perfect fourths. And then we have do, ti, do, which is way up here. Do, or I can't go that high. Do, ti, do, do, ti, do. All right, so that one is our 7th tone. So you know we've just done all the notes except for fa, except for the 4th note. That's pretty amazing. So if we did a scale using solfege and the hand signals, just out of knowing it, do, so, do, re, mi, fa, I think it's that, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you just did a scale. So now, more practice reading on page 39. So let's do, and more practice reading from there to the end. So let's do this. I'm going to play or sing a pattern or a tune, and you identify with your ears by listening what the pattern is. Okay? Let's do, well, we just did that one, but let's do it again. It's a mi, re, do pattern. Right? Okay. How about this one here? Naughty kitty cat, you are very fat. You have butter on your whiskers, naughty kitty cat. There are 2 of them in there. so mi la. Naughty kitty cat, you are very fat. You have butter on your whisk. Actually, it's not. It's not a so mi la. Da 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 da. It's so mi la. So it's not quite. Naughty kitty cat. It's just the so and the la. But it does have naughty kitty cat. Naughty kitty cat. Has the mi re do at the end. How about this one? I see a bluebird in through my window. Hey, deedle-dum a day, day, day. Take a little partner, tap them on the shoulder. Hey, deedle-dum a day, day, day. So we've got both. So mi la, and we have mi re do. I'm gonna play one more tune because I think this one's a good one. And this one's called Mother Brown. And let's see how many patterns are in this. Mother Brown went to town riding on a pony. When she got back, she took off her hat and gave it to Miss Macaroni. So we had our so mi do, and we had our do so do in that one, and mi re do. So we had all those in that one tune. Okay, now I'm gonna play, and I want you to play after me. I'm gonna start with 3 on E with my right hand. Your turn. My turn. Your turn. Change to a 4. Change to a 3. Change to a 5. So you can make up your own melody just putting those patterns together, and we eventually will be using this so do so pattern when we are working on harmonies. So that's something that you'll keep being reminded of. Now, at the very back, after your sight reading, there are scales that are written out. I have C major, G major, and D major because my students that are practicing these reading books are already playing those scales. So you see what they look like. I start out with some patterns that are recognizable, and then we play the scale in the arpeggio. So that's what those are. And then after that, I have this. You get some staff paper, some manuscript paper that you can write anything you want on that. You can compose something, you can write something that you see in another book. You can do whatever you wish with it. But I do urge you to start out your practice reviewing this sheet that I sent a while back. You see that? It has the patterns. We played them, and you played them back, echoed them back, and then you played them memorized, and then we read them at the end of the spring. So there are 2 pages to this. Here's the other page. These are the patterns that we are using. So Hopefully that will be of some help to those of you who are taking lessons this summer, and some of you who are not taking lessons this summer. You have something to go on.